What's going on, everybody? Sports is still going on. The world is freezing over, but it's two guys here gonna make you laugh for the next half hour. That'd be me, Michael Price, and that guy over there, motherfucking Cullen Jenkins. Cullen, what's happening, baby?
Hey, nothing much, cuz man. Just glad to be back here again this week.
Oh man, are you staying warm? You staying inside your palatial mansion?
Yeah, we're staying warm out here. We're fortunate. All the power and the grids, everything in Michigan has been holding up. But I'll tell you what, man. Hearing those stories down south, especially down in Texas and some of those other stuff, man, it's crazy. And thoughts and prayers go out to everybody affected.
No, you know what? And that is kind of crazy out there. I'm not even gonna get into the political side because were you in Detroit when we had the brownout?
No, was that when all the power had went out in
Yeah,
this.
when all the power went out in Midwest and on the East Coast, that was crazy,
I was
crazy.
in Cleveland. That was I believe it was in 2003,
Yeah, yep.
and that was when it was the first year I was signed as undrafted free agent. I was out in training camp trying to make the team, and we had went to Cleveland. And the second we got to the hotel in Cleveland, all the power just shut out.
So what did they, first of all, I was going to ask you, you was in Cleveland, so you must have lost a bet. But okay, it was professional reasons that you're out there. So what did you guys have to do?
We just had to like hang tight for a while and figure out what was going on because if you remember, it was really hard to get like in contact with anybody. Cell phone, weren't working that well or barely working, and so we just kind of had to hang in there and just wait to figure out what was going on. And in the meantime, just use the stairs in the hotel.
Well, see, the coaches probably thought that was a hell of a workout for you guys, but no, you were so right. I remember going to Costco and they ran out of water. So that's right when flavored water came out. So we had to buy cases of flavored water. And it was cool for about 3 days. But on that third day, you're like, yeah, this is not working out for me. We're going to have to come up with something a little bit different. But yeah, prayers out, like you said, to the people down there. And you know what, man, let's get to it and find out what they are talking about in the chat room. Man, so dude, Carson Wentz got traded. What the hell? What the hell happened in Philadelphia? I know you have connections there. I'm not going to ask you to give out your clandestine scenarios, but not only did they lose their trade their starting quarterback, they got rid of their head coach, and they won the Super Bowl 3 seasons ago. Man, what the hell's happening in the NFL?
Man, I'll tell you what, Philly is a unique place to be, to play, to be a fan. It's crazy. And to think you can be 3 years removed from winning the first Super Bowl in the history of the team to just blowing up everything within the organization. And I mean, man, they got rid of the quarterback, the head coach. Uh, I don't know what else is even going on in there or any more plans that they may have to change. But it's crazy. And you got to think they have a good, solid foundation. If you didn't, you wouldn't have just won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. But
Right, and hell, it's Jim. I'm worried about Jim the janitor. That's the only person I'm worried. Is Jim the janitor still there getting his paycheck? The rest of those millionaires, the hell with them. But that's Jeffrey Lurie, right? Is that the owner?
yeah,
Yeah. So I know he had some scenarios in the past with his baseball team down south. But yeah, you're right. The Eagles, they were the one team, that he owned that looked like it was going in the right direction. Like I said, you were a part of that thing. But to know that they got rid of the quarterback that won them the Super Bowl, paid the quarterback who sat on the bench and didn't play, gave him $100 million, drafted another quarterback that no one seems to think could really play quarterback. And then when the quarterback they gave $100 million to started playing bad, they put the quarterback that they didn't think could play in the quarterback, then got rid of the quarterback. Did I say that right?
hey, I think you got it right on right on the head right there, man. I don't know what they going through quarterbacks like you said, like water in a disaster, man. This is ridiculous. Like, what are their plans? Like, how do you go through that many quarterbacks in that amount of time when you had one that had just won the Super Bowl for you. And I understand that they wanted to, that they were looking at Carson Wentz as being their guy at that point, but they never even figured it out who really had a chance. Nick Foles never really got a solid chance to compete, to actually, show that he could be the guy, because you never know. It could have been Nick Foles and Doug Peterson that had that relationship, and they could have had, you never know. They could have had a Belichick Brady type of relationship over time, but they never gave him the chance to. They got rid of him to clear room and have less competition for Carson Wentz, and hey, we see how it's turned out now.
So the one thing I know that people have always been talking about, in order to have a good football team, that you have to have that balance. And I looked at it last year, and I didn't see them having that running game that they had 3 years ago, because it was like a three-headed monster. They had speed, they had power, and they had consistency back there. And now you don't see that there with Philly. The running game is really important. I mean, am I just saying that just to be saying words?
No, you're not. It's incredibly important, and especially if you don't have just a flat out dominant quarterback. There are some quarterbacks out there that can help out the run game, and then there's other quarterbacks out there that need the run game to help out the pass game. And Wentz, and not just Wentz, but every quarterback that they had there in Philly, they're not quarterbacks that can help out the run game with their pass game. They need the run game to help out their pass game. And so when you don't have that, now you're putting everything on the shoulders of guys who just haven't had a chance to develop into a great quarterback yet.
So I know we always talk about when defenses have to go back on the field because the offense isn't able to at least get a first down. Do defensive players really go, I can't believe this shit, we got to go back out already?
All the time. All the time. All the time, man. There's nothing worse than, going out there and getting stops, or, coming back and it's like, yeah, all right, you got to stop, or we put the offense in a good position, and give it a little rest, let offense do their thing. Next thing you know is 3 and out, you're in punt team, or, turnover. And you just got to, it's a quick moment you have to do it, though, because it's on that jog onto the field. You kind of jog as you're jogging past them. You have your little feeling, your little, but you got to transition. You still can't show it to your teammates. So when offense is running off, you got to high five them. That's all right. We got this. But so you got to try to encourage them, and then get ready. And get motivated. For the next series. But yeah, you do have that feeling of what the fuck is going on and why.
Well, because I would be out there going, I can't even make any eye contact right now. I can't make any eye contact. I'm just going to act like I'm getting self-hyped, because especially when you've made that 4th and 1. When you've had that 4th and 1, you're like, oh, this is what we need. Yeah, that has to be one of those moments, like you said, you catch and feel. It's like, okay, this is what we do.
Yeah, I tell you, it goes both ways too, though, because there's been times where I've been on defenses and we couldn't stop a running nose, and offenses out there putting up a ton of points, keeping us in the game, and so it does go both ways too. So it's not just the defense looking at the offense sideways thing. It happens the other way around too.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it does. Well, so he leaves Philadelphia, Carson Wentz, and he goes to the Colts. Now, all of a sudden, the Colts have elevated to being one of the top contenders, as well as the Rams, because they got Matthew Stafford. Is this overhyped, man? Because if he couldn't make it in Philly, is he really going to make a difference in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I'm going to need to wait and see. I'm going to need time, because Carson Wentz going to Indianapolis, nothing in my mind made me think that that's going to be, a Super Bowl, a Super Bowl team, not just because they added Carson Wentz. He's got to prove that he can stay healthy. He's got to prove that he can get back to, that pre-Super Bowl, or that Super Bowl year, before he got hurt, that type of form, and be consistent with that. So, I just have to see it.
What do you? I mean, okay, and, you know, I know we ride on his back a little bit, but come on, man, they gave him a lot of money, so it comes with the territory. And with that said, what do you think happened, man? You just don't get bad. Do you think it was just lightning in the bottle? The you know those first 13 games that he played that season, or was it bad coaching on his part, or prep, or you gun shy?
It's just things go in waves sometimes. When you're in the league and quarterbacks, they have more of it than anyone else because all the attention is on them. And so, you can see a team get hot, and look unstoppable like Pittsburgh did this past season. And then all of a sudden, it's like somebody, played a joke and tripped them, while they were walking, and then they never got back into the same walking rhythm. And that just happens. Sometimes it happens with, people's careers too. They could be, looking like they're on an unstoppable path. And then all of a sudden, they have one hiccup, you know, or the GPS went out on their phone and now they lost. They don't know where to go. So we'll have to see if maybe they got a new device for him out there in Indy that can get him better directions.
Yeah, no, it's something. It's talking about unmovable forces, man. And I'm sure that you've seen him. You had to be a fan, but they finally let him go. J.J. Watt was released by the Texans. He's out in the professional portal, which it's funny that they even call it a portal, like they're in some telescopic thing, just floating around, just waiting for somebody to grab him. But got released, and it was a mutual respect thing. Got released by the Texans. Now he's out there just looking. You've been in that scenario before. You know, when you were that free agent, what is he looking at right now? What in your mind, what makes the most sense for him as far as a landing spot?
Well, he's definitely looking at a team that has a chance to win the Super Bowl, and I think that he's had enough accolades in his career, personal accolades that he wants more than that. I believe I believe he wants to get on a Super Bowl caliber team, so he has a chance to check that off of his accomplishments list because that's something that not everybody gets to do, and as you start to get later in your career, you start to think about it more and more. So I definitely think that's one. And JJ Watt, I kind of don't know how to feel about JJ Watt. He's definitely a great player, but you know, JJ started off his college career at Central Michigan University 5 and left. Why would you leave? But but he's a great player. And then, I would think it would be scary if JJ Watt took a pay cut to go somewhere like Tampa Bay or something like that, and Brady has that effect on players too. He was, it happened in New England where people, veteran players wanted to go there so they can, try to win a Super Bowl before their career is over. So that'll be something to watch out for. If not there, maybe Green Bay. Being from Wisconsin, he might, want to have a chance out there.
I have a feeling that Tom Brady has a refrigerator full of these apples that he gives to people to take a bite of, and it's like the Kool-Aid. And all of a sudden, like pay cut. Yes, I will take a pay cut to be with you, Tom Brady. I will take a pay cut but it all jokes aside, like, you won a Super Bowl. And that's something that no one can take away from you. And not only did you win a Super Bowl, you were an integral part of that. I still remember just watching you when they were bringing the trophy down the lane, and you were just touching it up like, this is it. This is it. What? And we know that making sure that your family's secure. Those two beautiful daughters of yours. But is that pay cut something that you would have done just to have that moment and that feeling?
Yeah. If I hadn't have had the chance to win one, and you getting towards because even with winning the Super Bowl, as I got towards the end of my career, some of my decisions started to be based more off of you know proximity to my previous locations, where I would have to move the kids, find them. So that honestly, it eliminated some teams, like West Coast teams,
Right.
when I was a free agent and I had visited Seattle, San
Really?
Francisco, and Oakland, all out there. And It just made sense for me to stay on the East Coast because, for family reasons. So, I didn't even really get into negotiating back and forth like that because it just wasn't as, it didn't fit my situation. And, that's what happens with the older players. If their situation is wanting to win a Super Bowl, then they're going to look for, teams that fit that situation first.
Huh? And that's something. I mean, I'm sure people think about that, but they really don't think of, about that scenario about the family. But hell, when you look at it, especially guys in their late 20s, early 30s, they usually have a couple, kids. There's, life's a little stable, man. So would you say that's what, 50-50 as far as players concerned or lower? Just thinking like that, thinking like you did, or
Yeah, I'd say 50-50 because you definitely like you said, I was unique because I had my kids at such a young age so that they were grown and going into high school around this time.
right.
But a lot of players who they might have younger kids, babies, or they might not even have kids yet. Those players are definitely going to be more open minded to where they could go. The type of situations they're looking for. But the more it's older players that have family, in relationships, kids, they're the ones that really have to take into account your family situation, what's best for your family before you just go out making any decision.
Okay. And, talking about decisions, there was a big decision that was made by the NBA, and the NBA All-Star game's still going to be played. With everything that's going on in the world right now, uh, Adam Silver is coming under some scrutiny. You look at the situation, the NBA was able to get out of the COVID bubble this past August, September, crowned the NBA champion, came back in the season later in the season. And now things aren't going as well because the situation's different. Players are able to get out, see their families a little bit more. They're traveling, and they're positive COVID tests. Thank God, fortunately, the players are younger, the players are in healthy situations. But you have someone like Carl Anthony Towns who lost 5 family members, including his mother. You can't tell him a damn thing about COVID because he lost 5 people in his family. So,
Yeah.
looking at the NBA's the way they're handling this, man, do you think they really should be playing this game, or should they be letting the players go back and see their families and decompress?
Yeah, this is gotta be one of the stupider decisions in sports. I know we talked a little bit last week about the whole thing going on with the NBA with Kevin Durant and them not knowing what they were doing, whether he could play or not play, and now they're going to go to All-Star game. And I mean, let's think about this: if they really had the safety of the players, you know, number one in their mind, All-Star week will be a perfect week to allow these players to go home and isolate. Go home with your families, isolate. If you've got COVID moving around through any, players, coaches, everybody, give them a week to isolate. Make sure everybody comes back fresh. But I don't see the need for an All-Star game when you've got a pandemic running around. Now you're playing games that have nothing to do with the season. I understand,
Right.
the season, we're trying to keep that going, keep everything as normal as possible. But I mean, what are you going to do? Okay, they're going to have the All-Star game. At halftime of the All-Star game, when they do the mascot dunk challenge, what are you going to do? Have a bunch of the different COVID variants as a mascot doing the dunk challenge? I mean, come on. They might as well, because then it can remind us of how stupid it is.
Yeah, no, it really is crazy right now. And you look at it, and unfortunately, everything's driven by money. Let's not even pretend. Let's not even play. But in this case, I think you should. You're right. You should go ahead, think about the players, think about the family. Uh, I know Carl Anthony Towns has been, vocal about it. LeBron's been vocal about. Everybody's been vocal about it. So I'm assuming that you would be a player who would say, "Man, this is the craziest shit we're doing right now." Correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would definitely say. And then not only is it going to affect, have an effect on the players and some of the coaches and stuff, But now you're setting up an atmosphere around the city and around the fans that's unsafe, because now you're going to have people trying to go to these cities for these all-star games, which is going to increase, the possibility of the spread just moving throughout everybody else and not just through the NBA.
Yeah, no, it's not one of the better scenarios for them, but you know what? It is the NBA, and sometimes you can get full of yourself. So, we're going to take our first. Not, you know what? Let's not even take a break, man. Let's keep this thing pushing. And what we know right now is that the Super Bowl is coming back, man. And let's see here. I had some stats, but of course, this thing never wants to. So we got some Super Bowl odds. I'm going to give them to you, Cole. We have Kansas City plus 550. You have Green Bay at plus 900. You have Tampa Bay at a plus 900. Baltimore plus 12. Uh, Baltimore a plus 12. Los Angeles has moved up now, and San Francisco's moved down. New Orleans has moved down. Does this sound accurate to you? Do you see Kansas City still being that guy? And do you even actually see the Rams now all of a sudden being one of those favorites?
No, I still got Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay should be the favorite. You think Tampa Bay is plus 900?
Yeah.
I might have to get on the phone here. Hello? What is Green Bay at again?
Okay, Green Bay is at the plus 900.
Okay, so Tampa and Green Bay are both plus 900.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I could very easily see, you'd either be in Green Bay or Tampa. They'll probably be in the championship game playing against each other again, and one of them will be representing the NFC. And I don't know. I don't know how Kansas City is going to respond back from what just happened. But I think that they need to, add some weapons, especially in defense.
Whoa. What'd you say? Kansas City needs to add some weapons. What
Yeah,
the hell?
especially on defense. On defense,
Okay.
because the way Tom Brady went through them, well, you know what? They may have some weapons, but they ran out of ammo in this past Super Bowl. So they may not need weapons, but they at least need to get some ammo for those weapons.
Yeah, no, that was you're like the third person that was talking to. I do the other show, the Black Hole Unleashed. Make sure to listen to us every Tuesday at 6:30 at the Black Hole on Facebook Live. But that was a cheap plug, but got a plug. But Jeremy was actually saying with my co-host over there, and at first when he said that, I went, "What the hell is wrong with you, man?" But we always have to think about Dan Marino. When it comes back, there's nothing in the NFL that is guaranteed. Except for those guaranteed salaries that they give you guys, and hell, they even try to take those back. But it's you just look at it, it's like, man, Aaron Rodgers. I don't think we appreciate him enough, and these superstars but he didn't even get back. That's kind of crazy when you think about that, man. It ain't easy to win.
Yeah, like I pointed this out to you before. Look at Russell Wilson in Seattle.
Yeah.
They won. The Super Bowl. They make it back the next year, and we all know what happened in that case, and they should have won that one as well. But they haven't been back since. And during that time, everybody was thinking, oh well, they've definitely they're building a powerhouse. They'll be back next year to avenge themselves, and they haven't been back since. And, for Kansas City, that's just something that I'm concerned with them about. Sometimes you get to thinking that it happens too easily. And, then when it doesn't, it can have a mental effect that, goes through the whole team and affects everybody. And now all of a sudden, the whole team is scrambling, trying to figure out, what's the problem and what's the solution. And everyone else is getting better in the meantime.
And that's when coaches and GMs start making those knee-jerk decisions. I'm going to assume where, all right, let me get rid of this, let me get rid of that, and let me throw this in here.
Yeah, Philadelphia right now.
Yeah, oh, yeah, right, exactly. Who's like, oh my God, what do we need to do? And he's like, let's just blow it all up. Shit, let's just blow it all up. 3 years ago, cuz 3 years ago, these fools won a Super Bowl, and now not even the coach is there. Not even the coach. If you were on that team at Philadelphia, how would you feel right now?
I mean, I feel bad for them because I still know, some of the players on the team, some of the D linemen, Fletcher Cox is still there, Brandon Graham is still there, Vinny Curry's still there. And, I still know those guys really well. And I feel bad for them because even watching that last game of the season, and we all saw what happened in that last game of the season, that turned into the big controversy. Were they tanking? Were they not tanking? All that. And I just felt bad for the players at that moment. I felt bad for the fans. And then it rolled into the offseason right after that. Then the head coach is gone. And, you're trading Carson Wentz. Wasn't it Zach Ertz that was sitting on the field after the game, crying for a while, a
Yeah,
possible situation. Or not, let me not say crying. I don't know if he was crying or not, but he was emotional because
right, right.
it could possibly been his last game playing in that stadium. And so they've got just so much up in the air surrounding the team and what their team is even going to look like next year. And that's a lot. Some of those older guys that whose contracts are starting to run up, they have to be starting to think about their own futures as well. They're going to be wondering, like, okay, after this year, I'm gonna go someplace else as well because now we're back in rebuild mode with the team. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy for all of them.
Yeah, no, it's sports. It's hard, man. And I think as armchair quarterbacks, and you just look at any sport as a fan, we just assume that it's a switch, that you can just turn on. And which kind of takes us into this next conversation here, just like the Lakers. They've been playing great, and people assume that they're going to be there, but now Anthony Davis is injured. With Anthony Davis being injured, now all of a sudden people are going, oh, well, if Anthony Davis isn't there, they don't have a chance. If this is this, one injury changes everything, just everything. If it's baseball, if it's football, hell, I'm assuming even if it's cricket. Jimmy Lancaster, the number one cricket player. I don't know. I just made that shit up, but I'm not sure. I'm sure if he's out of the game, man, the adage "next man up" that sounds good on paper, but in reality, and
Yeah,
I was talking to my man Greg Bell, who used to play for the Raiders. He's like, bro, that next man up, the difference between 1A, 1B, and 1C, it's a reason he's 1A. Am I right?
right. You're correct, and it's. I mean, come on, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Replacing it, what he does and what he brings. Every day. So that's got to be something that next man up just has to be a transition period. It's got to be the transition to help you guys stay doing well, stay in the flow until you can get them back. And that's what you want from some of your role players and your backups. You want them to be able to step in and help transition. Whether it's on the court when the starters need to get a break. They need to go to the bench for a little bit. You want that second group to come in. Keep up the play, keep up the momentum until you get your stars back. Your best players back. So their next man up is just going to have to come in and try to do the best as he can until they.
Well, see, so my move, I'm going to play GM right now. They've already had him on the team. He's playing for a team that's not going to do anything. I think the Lakers need to try to make a move, and it's not to get Boogie Cousins back. He has that piss in his blood. That's just an angry brother, and that's okay. I'm okay with someone being angry and having chips on their shoulder. But I think that could be a cost-effective piece. If they can go out and get a Boogie Cousins, because I don't, they need size. I was watching the game last night, and it just wasn't there. You can see that the Lakers knew that they didn't have Anthony Davis. 25 points ain't easy to come up with, especially when you're looking at Wes Matthews. Caldwell Pope, all these other guys. No offense to them, but like you said, they're not Anthony Davis. They don't have the size, and but I'm liking Boogie Cousins.
That could be an interesting move. He could bring some size in there. He just have to stay healthy as well. But if he did stay healthy, that would be, that could be a smart move and a move that could help, just provide him depth too, in the size department.
Yeah, no, I see it being something that'll definitely help them move it forward, man, because they're going to need something. That other team out there, they look like they just lost their mind. Yeah, I know Paul George is. You know what? What is your take on Paul George, man? I've never been a fan of Paul George. I know the brother can shoot, but he, I'm not going to try to, demean him in any way. But man, I don't see him being a superstar. Man, he's on the team. Kawhi got him over there for the Clippers, but it just doesn't seem to be working, man. I am I missing something? Or am I just looking in through my strawberry goggles?
Paul George is, I haven't followed too much, on him. Uh, I'm not the biggest, fan of his, but ever since he suffered that, tragic injury, you can't help but root for him. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still, want to see him do good. You want to see him overcome, and continue to be able to, write the story, of his career post, injury wise. But it's just the NBA today has just got to be it's too many teams trying to throw too many people together, at one time. And it's got ridiculous. Like the NBA, they rotate people like they rotate, big
Like
two.
tires.
Yeah, like it's like middle school kids just first learning how to date. Like they got a different, it's a different relationship every week, and you can't even follow up on it, And they keep trying to piece this person with this person, just because they're big names, and they don't let things develop naturally. They just
Right.
try to force these relationships, and then if it doesn't work, then next year, okay, you break it up and then go for a whole new one, and they don't let it develop. Like in the days and back in the days, teams drafted players, or they may make one free agent, move in the off season, and then they try to develop the chemistry within the team and allow everybody to learn how to play in the system and play with each other. But those days are long gone.
No, and I definitely would agree with you. And inorganic. It's just something that people don't look to it. Case in point, the New Jersey, not New Jersey, but the Brooklyn Nets. I always show my age when I say stuff like that. But yeah, they all of a sudden they forced. I was actually laughing at this last night. They finally got, the Brooklyn Nets finally got Kyrie back in there. Kevin Durant still not playing, but James Harden still has to be the man. So you just go, is he sitting there going, what the shit just happened here? I'm doing the same damn thing I just did down there. I'm
Yeah.
just doing it in colder weather. Well, yeah, it he has to be happy now because it's what he asked for. The whole adage, be careful what you ask for, because the grass is always going to be greener on the other side until you get to that grass, you find out it's astroturf.
Yeah, he got out there and he thought he was going to be playing with a couple big names and they have a big three or whatever, but yeah, nah, it hasn't even come close to that yet.
not not at all.
he's
But
just doing it, he's just doing it in a different state right now, doing the
that's
same
it.
thing.
Hey, lower taxes, lower tax bracket. I think that's it. I think the East Coast may have that thing over there, but
Not
yeah,
in New York, not in New York,
oh,
Missouri. Because I believe what Texas was no state taxes out there. I think so. He taking a
ah,
back hit too.
oh, that's right. You did play for the Giants. Right, right. I forgot about the Giants, man. I forgot when you played with the Giants. But so looking at the NBA, I watch it on a regular basis, and what I'm seeing right now is parity. I'm a fan of parity. I don't, all in football. I'm about that 9-7. In basketball, I love a team that has 50 wins and may have 22 losses. across the board. And then all of a sudden, you have those two or three that are up here. We can say they're more elite. But I don't know in the NBA if we have elite right now. We just have a lot of teams, and to take the whole phrase, it's not any given Sunday, it's any given damn day that these teams can win. How do you feel about parity in any of these leagues, especially with the NBA?
I think it's important. It's important just to keep the competitiveness, even to keep, certainty, because as you lose parity in some of these leagues, then it gets harder to get it back because then the best players want to go to the best teams and they arrange it in that way. And so I think having a parity in these leagues allows for it's great for the competition. It's great for the fans because instead of just having, five or six, cities that fans can, cheer and be happy for their team, now you've got, a majority of the league or half of the league whose fan base can stay active and still be involved in it. So I think keeping parity in the leagues is got to be something that they concentrate more on moving forward into the future because, especially in the NBA, once they started to do these big two, these big threes, where everybody's just kind of arranging which team they're going to go to together, they've really kind of, lost it.
Yeah, no, they did. And, someone who's not in that parity zone or mode right now is the Utah Jazz. Jesus Christ, man. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, whatever they were going through, Rudy and his whole COVID thing, wiping the mics with his hand, then turned out he had COVID. I know Donovan wanted to whoop that ass afterwards, which would have been a funny fight in itself. It would have been like Kareem and Bruce Lee, But with that said, they kissed and made up. They are the number one team in the NBA. Amazing to me, man. I didn't see it coming. Have you been able to watch them yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bro.
I have not even seen a Utah Jazz game pop up on ESPN yet. I don't know how much I've looked, honestly.
I know. It's like they were on last night, man. They were on last night, man. No, they actually were. I'm not going. They actually played the Lakers the other day, and it wasn't even a national game. So you're not the only one. They're under the radar.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to call me or text me next time they play nationally so I can check them out. But I follow up on the records. Me for basketball, NBA, I kind of like to wait until like kind of after the whole March Madness thing when you get into the whole playoff swing. Then I really start to get focused in on the basketball. But no, I do need to watch. I need to start watching more than just the Pistons and Golden State and.
Yeah, you really do. You're like, I feel like especially the Pistons. Oh my God! See, now you just opened up a can of worms right there because
And now they talking about what to do with Blake Griffin again, and it was a
who, what the hell, man? It was, I always thought it was funny that Blake went to Detroit. We got a lot of high yellow brothers in Detroit, but when Blake Griffin went there, I thought it was a whole different thing. Like you're from Oklahoma, you played in LA, now you in Detroit. Like he could be just socially lost.
yeah. You know what? I thought it was going to work out too. I thought him coming in could possibly bring a little fire to the team, and yeah, it really hasn't happened that way. Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you mumbling over there. I ain't mad at you. It's just so weird because Detroit, they did the same thing before. They won those two championships, 80s, early 90s. Grant Hill came. It was, yeah, that's what it was when Grant Hill was there. And then accidentally, because out here, I tell people that all the time. As a Detroit Pistons fan in the late 90s, early 2000s, we had no expectations whatsoever. And then when they started winning and winning, and they got a bunch of guys who nobody else wanted, to Chauncey Billups, the Rip Hamiltons, and they're like, if we win, we win. If we don't, we got rid of Stackhouse, we got rid of Hill. Then they started winning, and we still win. Well, yeah, it's Detroit, but wait until that other shoe drops. Then they made it to a couple of Eastern Conference championships. Like, I guess. And then we made it to play the Lakers. Did you think they were going to beat the Lakers?
uh, No, not really.
Yeah.
Not
No
really.
one did. And
You
so
know,
that was like the most surprising thing that I've ever had. Man, I tied one on so hard because I had to get on a plane the next day to Mikhail's graduation. But I went, I don't even know it was weird. It was weird. And you know, no one really expected it. Not even diehard fans, man. And I don't even know what to like. And I feel like I'm rambling, but well, here's my guess. And so you guys were 9-7 when you went to the Super Bowl, right?
yeah.
So, and obviously, from a competitive standpoint, you always think that you're in it. But yeah, you see where I'm going with this, man. When you're 9-7, you've had some horrible losses. What what happens to a team member's mindset? Do you guys go, all right, let's bond together, let's get this? Is that what you do?
Well, you try to see if you could address what the issue is. You have to be careful of not, because we always hear, these players only meetings or, team calling emergency meetings, anytime things are going bad. And rarely do they change things. No, it's just be honest, I wonder how many, players only meetings the Detroit Lions have had over the past 2 decades, But in some situations, it doesn't make a difference, and you have to be careful of when you do it and how many times you do it because it can water it down. And if you understand what I mean, like if we're always calling players only meetings and it's not doing anything, then every time they call a players only meeting, the players start to go, oh, here we go with this shit again. Come on, man, damn, like, and you just keep hearing from the same players who say the same things. And sometimes you have players who call these meetings and say these things who aren't taking care of business themselves on the field. And that right there can really cause some conflicts among the team because you're like, how are you going to tell us what to do when you're not even doing it, or you may have players who are doing it, but then the player that wants to call it out is the main one that's not doing it. So they can get tough, difficult.
Yeah, no, and they have to be, man. It's just like work. When you have that boss, you're like, man, come on. This is nepotism. Your daddy owned the company. There's no reason that other than, or the guy, we had the conversation when you're drafted a number 2 pick, they gotta keep you. They gotta keep you. Yeah. So you can't tell me shit, man. You just go over there, do what you need to do, and step your game up. So no, I can see that happening all the time, man. Because don't tell me something if you're not doing it yourself. I think that's basically the adage. So all right. Now, this is the one thing, people. We bringing it back. We're gonna be hitting the social media up hard, hard, because you know who's gonna be back. The night doctor is coming back. He wants to hear from you because he's gonna give you some of that Detroit funky love. The questions that he's gonna give you, and what can we expect from the night doctor, Mister Jenkins?
When we go into night doctor mode, we just try to give friendly advice, and I will say, the night doctor is not a real doctor, and please do not take his advice as such, but it's fun, we get into some questions. I allow people to ask a wide range of questions, you can ask me questions from relationships to food to, family members to job situations to, anything going on. If you want to ask me something about, space and astronomy or whatever, it doesn't matter. The night doctor has no limits. He takes on all questions and he will provide an answer that is unique.
So, where and how do they get in touch with the night doctor?
If you go onto Twitter, uh, my Twitter is at Cullen Jenkins, but if you just put hashtag at night doctor and you always hashtag any of your questions to the night doctor, that's all you have to do. Hashtag night doctor, ask a question, and I'll find it.
Was that night doctor DOCTOR or is that night doctor DR?
DOCTOR. Spell out the
Um,
night doctor.
the night doctor. Yeah, so we're gonna have some fun, folks. I put it up there for you. Make sure to hit him up. We're going to put it up on Twitter. You be able to catch this show on YouTube, and each and every show on YouTube, it will be at the HiLites. We're going to be coming to you each and every week. We haven't decided what day yet. We're going to keep you guessing, but it's going to be fun. We'll be posting the highlights on Facebook as well. We want all your questions. We're going to start having guests, and we're going to have fun with our guests. They may not be in sports. They may be in any line entertainment. People out here in Las Vegas, because we're going to start to move things and having some fun. Our show is going to be on the Phase Cannabis Network. The launch of that is on 420. Imagine that, launching a cannabis network on 420. Who was the genius behind that move? That's marketing right there. But we are going to have some fun. We want you to join us each and every week there. We're going to let you know when that stuff happens. But more importantly, keep checking us out. That I never can do that right. That guy over there, that'd be one Cullen Jenkins, Super Bowl champion, and me. Man, I'm Michael Price. I thought you understood that, man. Sports marketing extraordinaire. You can check me out each and every Tuesday at the Black Hole Unleashed with my co-host Jeremy Long. I mean, we have some fun. We have a bunch of guests. We are the official. I said that right. We are the official podcast of the Black Hole and Raider Nation. Man, if you talk about people getting crazy, that's some crazy stuff, man. What I think we talked about this before. Craziest moment, the Black Hole. Just that you played there once, right, at the stadium.
Yeah, I played there once or twice. I can't remember, but I think one of the most interesting things was just seeing the fans. The fans that you grew up watching on TV, the ones dressed in the skulls, in the black paint and the skull, the spiked shoulder pads, and it's kind of a weird thing because the fans are there to watch us. They're amazed at us. But sometimes, when you find a super fan as a player, you can kind of be in shock too. Like, oh wow, that's that guy. I remember, I've seen him all the time on TV. So that's probably the coolest part about it.
Yeah, no, and it's so funny. I've become real good friends with the Violator, like you said, the ones with the spikes, the brother with all the paint on his face.
Yeah.
He was just inducted into the Hall of Fans in Canton at the Hall of Fame. They had a bunch of fans that they picked out, and he won. Imaginary. But the thing about Wayne, which is so cool from a philanthropic standpoint, he's always giving to the neighborhood. He always has sound advice, and people get intimidated by him, which they should. His arms about the size of my head, but it's not what you think. These people are hardworking people. A couple of them are attorneys, a couple of them are doctors, and that's just their release. That's just what they do to get that thing out. They don't chop wood, they don't hit bags. They act the fool 16 days a year. Well, actually, a lot of them do it a lot longer than that, but that's kind of what they do. But no, they're a good bunch of people, man, and I'm glad to have him. I call Wayne a friend now, and we're going to have him on the show and chop it up with him, and we're going to just bring in guests. So, guys, make sure and check us out. We're going to go ahead and put this one in the can. Have some fun with you next week. Make sure and check out the Night Doctor. I'm going to give that to you one more again. Hit Cullen up. Those questions. He's going to be on Twitter. We're going to have some fun. And more importantly, man, we're going to make you laugh. So, cuz, don't you have some studying to do or something, man?
Yep, I sure do. Papers to write, studying to do. Yeah. 10 more.
Yes. 10 more weeks. And folks, and that's it right there. My cousin went back to school to get that paper. And more importantly, he wants to beat his daughter to get his paper. So whatever your motivation has to be, man, go and do what you have to do to get your thing right. We appreciate you. It's the HiLites MP, Mr. Jinx, Cullen Jenkins, and we will see you next week. Peace.